So typically, for Simchat Torah, we would gather together at base and we would sing and we would dance and we would eat and we would tell stories about the Torah and stories from the Torah, but we can't do that. So instead, we have put together a virtual Simchat Torah celebration. We hope you will join us in dancing. Nicole is going to teach us a beautiful Israeli dance. You can learn along with Charles. Evan's going to tell you a poem. Students are going to tell you about their personal stories with the Torah, and so much more. So stick around. We hope you have a wonderful Simchat Torah.
All right, Charles, are you ready?
No, but let's do it.
Let's do this. So we begin, we're going to move to right. And so we're going to step with our right foot out, and then we're going to step together. And then we're going to do it double time. Out together, out together. Perfect. So then we're going to go the other way. Same thing. Out together, out together, out together. Perfect. So we're going to try from the beginning, just that part. Ready? Here we go. Out together, out together, out together, out together, out together, out together. And that's step one. How do you feel?
I feel great.
I'm so glad.
There's a metaphor that Jews are the feet of the Torah and that they transmit and transport it to wherever and to whoever needs to hear it. So this year we decided to have 10 different speakers to represent 10 toes over 2 feet for Simchat Torah. And they're talking about, how they transmit the Torah, how they did in the past year and how they will in the coming year.
Torah is kind of like a comforting presence in my life. I don't necessarily read it all the time, and I'm not necessarily I don't know much of it, but I'm well enough versed in it where the stories just sound, some of them just are very familiar to me. In terms of how I want to incorporate Torah into my life in the coming year, I think just staying true to the very basic values that Torah teaches, and trying to work Jewish values that Torah teaches into my day-to-day life, especially in terms of activism.
There's a teaching, a midrash from our rabbis that explain that Torah is like water, just like a fish who swims in the water, lives in the water, can't go any amount of time without taking huge gulps of water. So too, the Jew can't live without Torah. So why do I love Torah? Because it's delicious, and I can't live without it. Chag Sameach, happy Simchat Torah.
All right, are you ready for step 2?
Yes, I am.
Okay, again, we're going to start on our right foot, and we're going to cha-cha-cha forwards. I can't tell if you did it, but hopefully you did. And then on our left foot, because that's the one that's ready, we're going to cha-cha forwards. Cha-cha-cha. So we cha-cha'd with our right, then we cha-cha'd with our left. And now we're going to go back. 2, 3, 4. Okay? Great. So let's try that. From the beginning, we're going to out together to the right, and we'll go straight into cha-cha right, cha-cha left, back 2, 3, 4, okay? So we out together, out together, out together, out together, out together, out together, cha-cha-cha, cha-cha-cha, back 2, 3, 4. How'd that feel?
Fantastic.
In the past year, Torah has taken me to Israel and then back from Israel, unfortunately due to COVID, but it's also helped me get closer to my Jewish identity and feel more connected to the community. And hopefully this spring I will be bat mitzvahed. So I'm in the midst of Torah study right now as a part of my Jewish journey. And in the years to come, I hope to learn more Torah and get more connected to Judaism through my study of texts.
Hello, Hillel community. We are going to do the whole Torah as quickly as possible. So starts off at the very beginning, God creating the heavens and the earth. God takes us through creation each day, new things, lights, water, vegetation, animals, humans. Then we get 10 generations from that first humans, Adam and Eve, who got kicked out of the Garden of Eden, to the next major character, Noah, we meet. Turns out God, not so thrilled with his humanity, decides to destroy humanity, puts Noah and his family in an ark. They sail along, humanity dies. Not a great situation. Noah and his family come out and repopulate the earth. There's another 10 generations from Noah to our ancestor Abraham. That's where the Jewish story begins. Abraham hears God's call. It's unclear, maybe God was calling out to everybody and Abraham was the first one to listen. Abraham and his wife Sarah start a family first, a chosen family of people who follow along, and eventually, with a lot of praying, give birth first through his maidservant Hagar to Ishmael, and then through Sarah to Isaac. We get the story of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, our early patriarchs. Jacob is the first to have a number of successful children who all stay in the faith. They're doing great. There's a lot of sibling rivalry. Joseph has an amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. His brothers don't like him because he is quite full of himself. They sell him to Egypt. The Israelites end up in Egypt because of famine, and that is where they end up enslaved, and that is the end of the book of Genesis. We pick up right after that in the book of Exodus. The Israelites have initially just been living in Egypt, doing quite well, but then there's a lot of them, seems that they have been getting busy in the bedroom, and so the Pharaoh comes, who didn't know Joseph, doesn't know how all these immigrants got into town, and says, I want to get rid of these people, enslaves them. And there's a number of years where the Israelites are having a pretty crushing, terrible experience in Egypt. Suddenly God hears them crying out, and who does he send to save them? But Moses, who is sort of, some might call him a code switcher. He comes from the Israelite background, but was raised in the palace because the Israelites had to kill all their firstborn sons, but his mom and sister didn't want to do so. Sent him in a little basket of reeds. Moses' daughter saved him. And so he sort of knows he's got this dual identity. He is sent to save the Israelites and free them. He and his brother Aaron, who speak to Pharaoh, say, let my people go. Pharaoh says, no, 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 I will not let them go. There's a lot of plagues, locusts and hail and blood and frogs, not in that order. Eventually, the deciding plague is the death of the firstborn, where all Egyptians lose their firstborn sons, probably not daughters. Daughters didn't really count back then very much. The Israelites flee. Their food didn't have time to bake, so they're eating matzah. They run into the desert. The Egyptians chase after them. They're standing at a sea. The sea parts. They run through the sea. They party. They travel for a few more days. They receive the Torah. Suddenly we are in the desert, living the desert life. Free, but not quite so happy. There's a lot of complaining. There's not vegetation, no cucumbers and leeks and all the food we had in Egypt. Out of some trouble in those times, we make a golden calf. Moses comes down and smashes the first tablets, goes up to get some more tablets, and then we're still back in the desert being told how to build a temporary tabernacle or mishkan, and that concludes the book of Exodus. Leviticus is the book where we are given all of the sacrifices. This is where we learn how to have a relationship with God. Even though we don't have the temple yet in the desert, we have this tabernacle that we built. And so it's unclear. We're probably not offering sheep and goats and other such things because we probably didn't have them in abundance in the desert. Maybe we did. It's sort of unclear if we're being given instructions for what to do once we get to the land of Israel. This is what we're doing right now. But there's all the different ways that we relate to God. From the things that you offer daily to the things that you offer as sacrifices when you do something wrong, when you want to give thanks, when you have a child. We also get all the laws of physical purity, what happens if you have seminal emissions and menstrual emissions and irregular emissions. This is where we get the holiness code of what it means to be holy, involving a lot of people you're not allowed to sleep with. These are some of the more controversial parts of our Torah. And that is really the majority of the book of Leviticus. Leviticus ends and we are still wandering in the desert, still most of those original Israelites. This is sort of some of the interesting moments of, there's a great story of a talking donkey in the book of Numbers. There's a number of censuses. We count the Israelite people, want to know who's there, especially because after we are told to go scout the land, when it's only been probably, I don't know, a year and a half, and we go to the land, and it's like, it's an amazing land, but oh wait, we can't go in because the people there are scary, and then we flee, and we're freaked out, and as a punishment, that's why God decides to punish the entire generation who left Egypt. It seems that maybe the people who were slaves were not the ones who were best equipped to start a new life in the promised land. A bunch of other incidents there, but we start, in year, 2 or something, and we end Numbers in year 40, and suddenly we are a new generation, and now we are at the book of Deuteronomy. And the book of Deuteronomy, Moses stands before the Israelites and retells them their history, especially because a lot of them weren't actually the ones who left Egypt. He wants them to remember everything they've experienced. Moses tells them what's going to happen if they follow God, what's going to happen if they don't follow God. He retells a whole bunch of other stories. He retells the giving of the 10 Commandments. This is where we get a repeat of the commandments. We also get Shema and Ve'ahavta, our 4 prayers, Ve'omer, that's all in Deuteronomy. A remembering of all the holidays. There's also some battles as we're heading our way towards the land of Israel. There's some tribes who want to stay on the other side of the Jordan. We figure out what's going to happen with them. A lot more preparation. At the end, there's some songs, there's some blessings. Moses goes up to say goodbye. Moses is going to have to not join us in the land of Israel. That came, I think, in Numbers, but maybe I should know that. When Moses, instead of speaking calmly to a rock for water, slammed the rock, and therefore God said, no, you're not going to be able to go into the promised land. Transition of power from Moses to Joshua, and Moses bids everybody adieu and is gathered to Moses' ancestors at God's hand. The end.
This is a dance that has a lot of repeats. So the first time you go through that whole bit, you will wave with your right, and you will wave with your left. Waving with your right, wave with your left. Just one time.
Just one time. Yeah.
Then you'll go back to the beginning. You'll do the whole thing we've done so far. The second time, you're going to wave with your right, and you're going to wave with your left.
Yeah.
And then you're going to, with your right hand, go up. With your left hand, you're going to go up. Then with your right hand, you're going to go down. With your left hand, you're going to go down. And then you're going to clap, clap. And you can jump or you can just clap.
I'm going to jump.
I'm so glad you are. So this part, we're going to wave with the right, wave with the left, up, up, down, down, clap, clap. Perfect. Do you think we can try from the beginning?
Let's do it.
Okay, so we are out together, out together, out together, out together, out together, out together, cha, 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 cha. Back, 2, 3, 4, wave, wave. We're gonna go back to the beginning now. So out, together, out together, out together, out together, out together, out together, cha, 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 cha. Back, 2, 3, 4, you're gonna wave. And this time you're gonna go up, up, down, down, clap, clap. Perfect.
So 5780 has been a challenging year for many years for all of us. I've been having difficult conversations with people in my life, and using Jewish values of welcoming a stranger and helping people in need has been a great moral compass for me. Since I'm graduating this year, I want to start my adult life Jewishly to explore my Jewish identity further and make the world a better place.
Simchat Torah, it's one of my favorite holidays. What about you?
It's up there, but now that you mentioned it's your favorite, can you explain why it's your favorite and what's kind of...
Yeah, well, I mean, it's an exciting holiday. It's very happy. And yeah, I've had really great experiences. On my gap year in Israel, we had a friend on our trip who was really into this minyan called Raz's Minyan, okay. Which we were told was very spiritual, which goes along with the singing and the dancing. You'd think that they'd be very spiritual and they'd be very into it. Little did we know they were really into it. We got there around 6:30, and we were supposed to be back for an 8:30 dinner, which is already a late dinner. So we were ready to have some fun. We get there, it's packed. You have a ton of people, different backgrounds, and we're singing this pre-song, Ki Mitzion Teisei Torah, for no less than 15 minutes at least. It's a service with a mechitza, so the women are on one side, the men are on the other. So I was on the men's side, and you have grown men standing around the circle while people are dancing. They're crying, they're touching their face, going like this. They're very emotional. You see one or two guys wrapping around, like it was in a gymnasium, wrapping around poles and like rubbing their face on it like this, like really, really into it. It was cool to watch. I don't know if I could ever get into something like that at that time, but it was fascinating. But it was a lot of fun. I know I'll never have experienced anything like that again unless I go back, obviously. But yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed it. It's super cool to be in Israel, and yeah, I hope to go back soon. It was great.
Very nice. That's really exciting. I know I was there as well, and mine wasn't as interesting. Mine was more of a concert version. I was able to hear Shlomo Katz at
Nice
synagogue in Jerusalem as well, and trust me, it's different experiences, but they're just as magical. It's amazing.
How you feeling?
I'm good. I'm limber. I'm loose.
Excellent. Like you're dancing, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. So the next part is kind of fast. We're going to go over it slowly. Okay. So with your right foot, you are going to go out. With your left foot, you're going to go behind. With your right foot, you're going to go out. With your left foot, you're going to go over, out, and then it's a jump, jump, clap, clap.
Okay.
Yep. That's all there is in that part. Step 5.
Yeah.
We're going to do the same thing the other direction. So you're going to go out with your left, back with your right, out with your left,
Over. Yep.
over with your right, out with your left, and again, clap, clap.
All right.
Okay. Do we want to try, not all the way from the beginning, but just from the second time we're going to wave? So it's wave, wave, up, up, down, down, clap, clap.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. So we are wave, wave, up, up, down, down, clap, clap. And the actual pace is open, bend, open, back, open, in front, open, clap, clap. It's actually, I can't even say the words fast enough.
Okay.
It's like this. It's da da ba da 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 da. Clap, clap, back, the other way, clap, clap. So it's a little bit faster, but the steps are the same both ways.
Okay.
In 5780, I found Torah in the Hillel community in Chicago, and in 5781, I plan to grow and expand the community by continuing to be a part of it and bringing new people in.
Hi, my name is Brian. I'm a senior at Loyola. This past year, what I think the Torah has brought me is a greater sense of a Jewish community here in Chicago. And I definitely think going forward this next year, I want to be more aware of creating an even bigger community here in the city, as well as being more aware of Jewish rituals and holidays that I can celebrate with the community.
For Simchat Torah, it kind of merges into my prayer experience and Torah service when we read from the Torah. So I'm going to share with you my top 5 moments that has really impacted my experience with Torah. And so the first one was my bar mitzvah, my first experience with it, my first time able to read from it. Hebrew school wasn't really my favorite part of growing up, and reading from the Torah was really a great experience to actually dig into my roots and learn a little bit about who I am as a Jew. So that's my number 1. Number 2.
Picks or it didn't happen, Larry. Where are the picks?
The picks are coming right here.
Okay.
There's the picture. Number 2 was my first visit to the hotel, the Western Wall, and actually taking what we read into context and actually being able to go to the hotel there. Hey, there's another picture. There's another picture of me at the hotel. And being able to actually take what we read and actually go to where it was experienced and where the origin is. One of the origins. Number 3 is what we were talking about earlier, my Simchat Torah in Israel. There's another picture of me with the Israeli flag during Simchat Torah in Israel. The streets are packed, everybody's dancing together, everyone's celebrating. It was an experience like no other. Number 4 was Torah service in 2018 on my birthday. I was at Crater Lake. Hey, look, another picture. I was able to do Hagba and lift the Torah, and it really made me understand that you can do Torah service anywhere, and being able to do it in a national park, no less in America, where most people wouldn't think of that's where you find Torah or that's where you find your prayer experience. And so that really compelled me to understand that you really could celebrate and pray and be ourselves anywhere in the world. And then the fourth one came a couple weeks ago for High Holidays. I was able to experience High Holidays on Zoom for the first time, and I was honored to have an aliyah. And hey, look, there's a video of me giving the Torah blessing. And it was really cool. Andrew, I don't know how your services were, but mine were definitely very different this year, and something you never really would have expected.
Yeah, no, they were definitely different, and they were definitely more difficult. But what I am excited about is being able, this could be one of my favorites. This weekend, I'm celebrating Simchat Torah with Base in Lincoln Park.
Very nice.
Very excited to see Megan and Paige and maybe Bree if she's not asleep, and celebrate Simchat Torah with my friends in a time where it's hard to celebrate. So I'm very, very excited, and I encourage all the young adults who are watching this to maybe check out that opportunity if possible. Signing off, Andrew Freeman signing off.
Okay. Are we ready for step 6?
Why not?
With our arms, we're gonna go up, and with our right foot, we're gonna go in forward, okay? So up, and then we're gonna go back, and then we're gonna go up, and then we're gonna go back. Manageable, right?
That's step 6.
That's step 6.
Easy peasy.
Okay.
Hey, my name is Jason. I go to Columbia College Chicago. He, him, his pronouns. In the past year, I definitely felt more connected to Judaism, both with my Hillel community and other Jewish communities, and also with doing ritualistic things like on Shabbat. And in the coming year, I want to continue that, get together with more Jewish people in the community. And also one kind of small goal I have is to start doing Havdalah every week. So yeah.
Step 7, whether you want to pretend you're at a rodeo or whether you want to come up with some other analogy for what you're about to do, you are going, yes, basically, you are going to, you can put your hand on your hip, but you don't have to.
Not gonna want to.
You're going to turn, I think it's 4 sections turn. It's with your arm up, you're going to go turn, 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 I believe.
Okay.
You can do that, right? Beautiful. Like a pro, like you've been doing this your whole life.
I would say the first event that me and my roommates ever went to as a group was a Hillel event. It was free bagels in the park, and we went to the park and we got those free bagels and we met everyone in Hillel, and it was a good time. It was very, it was low pressure. It was just a fun time, and they were good bagels. I bring friends from all my classes all the time to Hillel events, and they always have a really good time. Because it's just a group of open people who are just excited to meet people and just want everyone to be involved and everyone to have a good time. And really, that's all you can ever ask for in a group of people. So yeah, I think Hillel is great. Good vibes all around.
So traditionally for Simchat Torah, someone recites the first and last chapter of the Torah in one breath. Now, unfortunately, I am unable to do that for a few reasons. 1, I don't have a Torah. 2, I can't read Torah without the vowels. And 3, I don't have the lung capacity to do it all in one breath. But what I have done is put together a little summary of the first and last chapter that I'm going to recite and share with all of you. Now this gives a little bit of an insight into how the story begins and how the story ends. So I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you have a great Simchat Torah. Here we go. In the beginning of God's creation of the heavens and earth, there was nothing but darkness that was as black as dirt. Something was wrong. something not right, and then God uttered, "Let there be light." But before we keep going, let's fast forward to Moses on a mountain tuned into God's word. It's the end of his journey, the end of the book. God took a deep breath and said, "Moses, look, you see Ephraim, Manasseh, and Naphtali, and all the land of Judah until the western sea. You've made it, my friend. Can't you see? You've arrived at the land of milk and honey." Now, here's the thing. There is a small catch. Your people can go in, but you gotta stay back. Now, Moses was pretty old, and that's a fact, 120 years to be exact. So in the land of Moab, he took his last breath. Before long, he was put to rest. But let's take a pause and rewind to the start, where God is creating earth like a work of art. He called light day and the darkness night. Before long, things started to feel just right. He added the waters in heaven and filled out the land. Everything was going according to plan. As he developed the very first neighborhood, he let out a sigh and said, "This is good." But what about Moses? The man just died. All of the sons of Israel broken up inside. For 30 whole days, they wept and they cried. But they needed, like rain pouring out of a bunch of eyes. But they needed a new leader, someone to be their guide. And Joshua, son of Nun, ended up being their guide. Now, before we finish the end, let's finish the beginning. God has made creatures that are flying and swimming, and before long, God needed to finish their plan. So from the dust of earth, God created man. "Let me make the man in the image of me, and they shall rule over the fowl and fish in the sea." Can't do it alone. They need a partner in crime. So God made a woman to stand by their side and told them to be fruitful and multiply. And on the 6th day, he finished his work. And he took a look at this thing he called Earth. God said it was good. Yes, God did their best. And on the 7th day, God took a rest. We have finished the beginning. Now let's finish the book. The last words are an ode to Moses and the journey they took, and the journey he took. There was not another prophet that rose to his fame. I mean, just about every Jew knows Moses' name. So now you know how the Torah starts and concludes. Now there are a few things that I had to exclude, but it's quite a long book. What can you do? Well, I guess you could read it, but that's up to you. Happy Simchat Torah, everyone.
The music is a little fast. Let's go back to the beginning and go through all the different pieces and put it together. We'll go slow, okay?
Ready.
Okay. So we are beginning with our right foot and we're going out together, out together, out together, left together, left together, left together, cha-cha-cha, cha-cha-cha, back, 2, 3, 4. We're just waving once. Wave, and now we go back to the beginning. Out together, out together, out together, out together, out together, out together, cha-cha-cha, cha-cha-cha, back, 2, 3, 4, wave, and this time we can keep going. Up, up, down, down, clap, clap to the right. Your clap, clap, left. Clap, clap, and now you're going up, down, and you're spinning in a circle like that. That's the whole thing. How do you feel?
Dizzy. I'm good. I'm good.
Do you want to try it with music?
Yeah?
Okay. Out together, out together, out together, out together, out together, out together, down, down, clap, right, clap, left, clap, up, down, and to the right again, to the left, and we go up, down, and out together, out together, out together. Cha-cha-cha, cha-cha-cha, back, 2, 3, 4, wave. Wave, we're gonna go back to the beginning. Out together, out together, out together. do you feel?
No, I'm tired.
Are you filled with Torah spirit, or do you feel like you're celebrating?
I feel like I have finished an entire Torah.
You basically have the Torah of that particular dance. Congratulations. Thank you for learning and dancing with me.
Thank you for teaching me, Nicole.
It was a pleasure as always.
Happy Simchat Torah, everyone. Chag Sameach. Wishing you a year full of learning, experiences and love. מאחלת לכם שנה מלאה באפשרויות, חוויות, אהבה ולמידה. Love you. חג שמח!